Hey, hello everyone. Ed from New Haven, Connecticut here. Hope everybody is doing well. Wanted to put out a video and do a response to a thread that's out there, or maybe even a challenge, I think it's called. A 4x4 challenge put out there by Simon over at Return to Vinyl, a channel I wasn't aware of until I saw some other channels I watched do this thread, and I thought it was pretty cool. So an excellent idea for a video, and I subscribe to Simon's channel as well. I'll put his link below also to his original video. So the thread slash challenge was from Simon to show 4 LPs by 4 artists. And a lot of people have done quite a bit of variations on this, had some fun with it. So before I watch any other videos, I said to myself, I got to get mine out there. So my take on this, my spin on this is going to be all female artists. So whenever I have a chance to show female artists here in the VC, I take the opportunity to do so. So I got 4 female artists, 4 LPs by each. All right, so let's begin. So first up we have from Canada, we have the lovely Kate and Anna McGarrigle. So this is their debut LP from 1975. Gorgeous folk music, gorgeous harmonies. Folks have talked about this before, pretty familiar with this duo. The big song on here that most folks know is Heart Like a Wheel, which Linda Ronstadt covered. She was a big fan of the McGarrigle sisters, and she recorded that track and got a million-selling album out of it. Just wonderful stuff is on here. Talk to Me of Mendocino was on here. Kiss and Say Goodbye. Really wonderful. A classic debut from the McGarrigle sisters. Really gorgeous. Their second LP, pretty much a continuation of that, is Dancer with Bruised Knees, which came out a year later, 77, I think, yes. So, produced by Joe Boyd, a lovely record. Some notable musicians are on here as well. John Cale plays on a couple of tracks on this. And once again, like I said, very much a continuation of the debut LP with a number of songs sung in French also. Third LP coming out in the early 80s was Pronto Moto. How do you say it? Pronto Monto. I think that's a French slang for something, open the door. I don't know. I have to look that up. I'm probably wrong about that. Somebody will correct me. Anyway, this came out in the early 80s. Bit more of a synth sound, trying to be a little bit more contemporary. Was a bit of, didn't do as well or wasn't as well received as the first 2 LPs, but certainly some beautiful stuff on here. And I love Kate and Anna McGarrigle, so I enjoy this as much. So a nice little 80s synth stab for the sisters here. And lastly, their last LP I have of theirs is Love Over and Over, which I picked up recently. So produced by the sisters themselves in 1982. Once again, kind of going back to that original sound a little bit. Half the songs are quirky and fun, half are much more somber. And intense folk songs and ballads. And they do a great French version of Bob Seger's You'll Accompany Me. So Kate and Anna McGarrigle, this is the 4th LP I have of theirs, Love Over and Over. So if you're not familiar with the sisters, any of these are fantastic releases, and you can certainly get them on the cheap. All right, next female artist is one that I showed in a previous thread video, but of course I have plenty more to show, and that is Miss Nina Simone. So this is Nina Simone, Nuff Said, a live LP from 1968. A pretty good entry point for Nina Simone if you're not familiar with her and how she can really just, just rivet a live audience and just command the stage and be a phenomenal presence. The big hit on here was Ain't Got No, I Got Life, which is from Hair, a big hit in the UK, I believe. Do What You Gotta Do is on here as well, the Jimmy Webb tune. But it's fantastic. Backlash Blues, Gin House Blues. She doesn't know the version of I Love You Porgy on here. So classic live Nina Simone from 1968. Mostly live. A couple of tracks were studio tracks with audience claps dubbed in, but still an excellent encapsulation of what she was like at that time in her prime on stage. Next Nina Simone we have here is one of her best studio LPs. This is To Love Somebody from 1969. All covers a lot of contemporary artists, covers some Dylan on here, covers the Byrds, does her own take of Revolution, just took the title from John Lennon's track and sort of a response to that original recording, a very interesting take on that. Obviously, To Love Somebody, a great version of that Bee Gees song, which everybody has covered. But my personal favorite on here is she does a really great version of Leonard Cohen's Suzanne, which opens up the LP, almost in like a light little calypso style. It's really catchy. It's really lovely to listen to, and I highly recommend it. So once again, if you're not familiar with Nina Simone, this is a good entry point. Really basic, really what's the word I'm looking for? Just really attainable, really listenable, not difficult at all. Really nice and pleasant. So a lot of great covers on here. Nina Simone, To Love Somebody. All right. Third LP going live again. This is Black Gold right here from 1970. Another live LP put out by her. Most of this was recorded a few days after the assassination of Martin Luther King, I believe. So it's live and it's beautiful, but it's also a pretty intense and melancholy listen. So a little bit of the opposite of Nuff Said, the other live LP that came out a few years earlier. Side 2 especially is really beautiful, but very haunting. Does a great version of Who Knows Where the Time Goes, the Sandy Denny tune, the assignment sequence, and the last track is, I believe, the initial recording of To Be Young, Gifted, and Black, which she wrote in response to the MLK assassination, I believe. So it's a pleasant listen, it's good, but you really got to focus on it. It's a bit more mellow and a bit more intense than some of her other live releases. So Nina Simone with Black Gold. And lastly, from Nina Simone, another covers LP from 71, Here Comes the Sun. So obviously the Beatles track is the cover. She covers more Dylan, Just Like a Woman, does the 5 Stair Steps, Ooh Child, Mr. Bojangles is on here. Once again, just an interpreter of tracks of the day, put her own take on it. So really, really lovely. Fantastic Nina Simone with Here Comes the Sun. All right. Third artist. Now here's a third artist who doesn't get shown really at all from what I can see in the VC. I've talked about her before. And look, you're either in the camp where you love her or you hate her. And I love her. And say what you want about her. Over the past 50 years, she really has brought a lot to the sound of modern music. And that counts. So take for that what you will. And that, of course, is Yoko Ono. So this is Yoko Ono's Plastic Ono Band. Almost similar to John Lennon's cover. The difference is how they're seated under the tree. And obviously, of course, folks know the image of Yoko on the back. So this is raw, uncompromising stuff. When people think of Yoko Ono, they think of this. But I'll tell you, if you're a big Beatle fan, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't own this, because you've got John Lennon, Klaus Moorman, and Ringo Starr just having a good time and having a blast backing up Yoko with her singing, wailing, screeching, whatever you want to call it, for most of this LP. So it's definitely uncompromising and a little difficult, but definitely groundbreaking. It still works really well and very, very influential. So that's Yoko Ono, Plastic Ono Band. Next Yoko LP came out in 1971. And that is Fly. Came out at the same time and recorded with the same musicians as John Lennon's Imagine. So once again, when people think of Yoko Ono, they think of the previous LP and they think of this. Once again, it could be uncompromising, tough to listen, a lot of screeching and wailing, but just great, great musicianship from all the buddies that are here in the band. And once again, all the usual suspects this time frame with the Beatles and company crew. You got Ringo here, Klaus Moorman, Jim Gordon, Jim Keltner, Nicky Hopkins, Bobby Keys, John Lennon, of course, all that stuff. And these guys are having a blast playing this music. And I have to tell you, I listened to this again recently, and there's some bluesy jams on here, and there's some jam freakouts on here, but it's excellent. And once again, highly influential and really groundbreaking. So you definitely should give this a listen and check this out. Third LP from Yoko is Approximately Infinite Universe from 1972. So this is recorded at the same time as when they did Sometime in New York City. So Elephant's Memory is the backing band on this. And this is probably her most accessible early 70s LP. It's another double LP, just like Fly was. A lot of blues tracks on here. Really great songs on here. Death of Samantha, Yang Yang, Have You Seen a Horizon Lately? Really, really beautiful stuff. There's that. And here's the gatefold with the essay inside. So once again, certainly much more listenable than the previous LPs, but it's Yoko, and I love it. So I think it's great. And Elephant's Memory was a crackerjack house band. Absolutely good stuff. And the last fourth Yoko LP that I have is It's All Right, I See Rainbows from 1982. So this is her second release after John Lennon was assassinated. There's a picture of them on the back with an image of John you can see and Sean at the time. Once again, suffers a bit from that 80s synth production stuff, but there are some really, really beautiful tracks on here and beautiful memories. And she does, as with Yoko Ono, she does her own thing. She does what she wants to do and makes no bones about it. And so I'm a fan and I think it's fantastic. Really, really wonderful stuff up here. And you can get this on the cheap as well. All right. And lastly, for the last 4x4, a female artist I've talked about quite a bit. I know other folks are fans of her as well. And that is the one and only Laura Nyro. So we have Laura Nyro here with Eli and the 13th Confession from 1968. Such wonderful key tracks on this record. Stone Soul Picnic and Eli's Coming and Emmy and The Confession. I mean, it just goes on and on how many people have covered her songs and how wonderful she is. So this is just a really groundbreaking, beautiful record that still holds up and absolutely wonderful. The next LP from Laura Nyro is 1969's New York Tenderberry. So this is much more of a melancholy record, more of a mood piece. It really is quite beautiful, but once again, like Yoko Ono in her own way, just is very uncompromising and records what she wants to record and plays what she wants to play. So in that regard, it really is just a beautiful artistic achievement. And it's a lovely record to listen to. The title track is wonderful. Save the Country is on here. A really, really phenomenal, mellow LP. Third Laura Nyro LP is the one that I always go to the most, and that is Christmas and the Beads of Sweat from 1970. This is a rockin' record. It really is a lot of fun. A great cast of musicians on here, produced by Arif Martin, and also a couple of the Rascals are on here. Felix Cavaliere, Dino Danelli. Duane Allman is on here. He plays a killer lead guitar solo on the title track, Beads of Sweat. Excellent stuff on here. You've got Backsplash, which is a cover of Up on the Roof, When I Was a Freeport and You Were the Main Drag, and of course Beads of Sweat is an excellent track. So I highly recommend, if you're not familiar with Laura Nyro, this is a good entry place to start because it's a full band record, not just her on piano. So a great, excellent, phenomenal LP right here. And the last one from Laura Nyro, one of my favorite ones as well, is This Is Gonna Take a Miracle from 1971, which she did with Patti LaBelle. And there we are with LaBelle there on the back with Nona Hendryx and Sarah Dash. Once again, an all covers LP produced by Gamble and Huff. And this is their tribute and love to all of the soul music and R&B music that Laura Nyro grew up with. So she loved 50s doo-wop, she loved 60s soul. And so she does a beautiful take with LaBelle as her back-end vocalist on this record. It's really lovely. And it opens up with the 1-2 punch of the Shirelles. I Met Him on a Sunday, and then do a phenomenal version of The Bells, which was done by the Originals, the Marvin Gaye track. So excellent. So once again, a great entry point for Laura Nyro right here. Gonna Take a Miracle from 1971. All right, that's it. That's all I had for my 4x4. This is a great thread, a great challenge. I've discovered a new channel as well. Thanks for watching. And like I always say, with everything going on out there, let's all take a moment to be kind to one another. All right, folks, until the next video. Thanks.